How's it going, people? Jack here and welcome back to the Chill Zone, or if you're new to the channel, welcome to the Chill Zone. So today we're going to be checking out yet another video from the Shoe on the Head channel, who has decided to cover somebody who, like yours truly, has been free-tittying it up as of late. That's your eye candy for today. This is of course Sweeney, and there is some controversy, or there's a countless amount of controversy that she's featured in. Some of them are like indirect, some of them are absolutely intentional. Let's not kid ourselves here. She clearly is an attractive woman that might have caused the ire of some less attractive one, at least according to the thumbnail here. There's always one intention with that cherry-picked specimen. But personally, I know her from Euphoria, a show that a friend of mine actually put me on like a few years back. Mainly based on the fact that the guy who did Earthquake? What the hell's his name? The British artist Labyrinth, yeah, he made the song For Us All, which is pretty fucking good. There she plays the character Casey Howard, who is something. I want to say that she more or less has turned her entire personality into her, but that would be me perhaps assuming a bit too much. But like, given her track record, I consider her to be rather meh as an actress. But pretty she is, and given the recent controversy regarding some jeans, which I looked into for like 15 minutes, I consider it to be like a non-issue and more of like corporation engaging in rage bait, something that has now become the norm. I wouldn't put it too much mind, so perhaps today you are going to be witnessing one of the shorter react from my part, because I tend to yap a lot in this, and or if there are some points that demand more explanation, I will do so. But without further ado, let's get cracking. Can I say that?
So if you've been living under a rock, you probably haven't heard that Sydney Sweeney was in an American Eagle commercial.
Genes are passed down from parents to offspring, often determining traits like hair color, personality, and even eye color. My genes are blue.
Sydney Sweeney has great genes.
Get it? Genes? Genes? Because she's attractive? And she is. I can see why men like her. She has a really cute face and a nice body. But personally, my favorite thing about Sydney Sweeney is that she's a Nazi. Did they mean to include a bunch of Nazi dog whistles in this? How the f did she agree to this? Actual Nazi ad. The only way Sydney Sweeney would be okay with doing an ad like this is if she was a Nazi.
Okay. Jesus Christ. It's a very weird thing. See, I mentioned the fact that I was put on Euphoria, and this was done to me by female friends of mine who are way more woke than I would personally be. But the thing about this is that even when Sweeney was going through her entire arc of like being celebrated for, yeah, we are back to loving titties again by that SNL thing that she did, right? And started gathering a certain following, that being very right-wing people. The people who followed her initially through shows like Euphoria obviously were more left-leaning, and they were still celebrating her, getting her money from that, because she was literally benefiting from feminism, because that's part of the deal. But given that she has been I guess seen in certain entourage and has been now gathering a certain following, that has caused some people that initially followed her to kind of shift perspective, which I kind of get to a certain degree. People are putting way too much of an emphasis on the people that they are following today and them carrying the same values as they do, as like heralding them as their champion and stuff like that. But going to the extent of calling her Nazi straight up, that's not cool.
Is Nazi shit.
The war on hot women. Okay.
That is being racist.
Some of you guys might be too young to remember, but back in the day when an ugly girl was jealous of a pretty girl, she would simply call her a whore. But that's a good thing now, so we have to call her racist. I am going to be completely honest, I have no idea what movies Sydney Sweeney is in. All I know, she is a very popular celebrity, and I always see discourse on Twitter about her being mid. What is wrong with you people? Who is not mid nowadays? I saw Anne Hathaway get called mid the other day.
Wow. Okay. Anne Hathaway has but one thing to be called, and that is a gooner. People who know fucking know. I'm not expanding on that one. You should do your own research. That being said, I will say mid for Sweeney in terms of her acting, because it's not impressive. Okay, I'm gonna be fair. I'm not an actor. I've featured in certain commercials, but oh god, I hate saying this. Some people might hate me for saying it, but it's like the same vibe that The Rock, Kevin Hart, the Holy Trinity, or to a certain extent, some people tend to feature Jack Black in there, but he's way more charismatic. But The Rock, Kevin Hart, and Gal Gadot in there. A hell of a lot of Kal-El. No. Like, she's clearly being typecast. There was that movie, Anyone But You. A lot of the shots were clearly just about her physicality, which is fine, okay? A lot of actors do that. The trio that I mentioned before, they are typecast for a very reason. They're marketable, and that's very much the thing about Sweeney, right? She is just marketable, and she is going through that game, and she's playing along with everything that is happening to her and for her.
Anne Hathaway. If these women are mid, I'm like a sub-zero. I'm like a -2. I am like a horseshoe crab on the bottom of the ocean. Horseshoe crabs are pretty basic.
No evolution.
445 million years, no evolution. That's me. Millions of years on YouTube, no evolution. Sydney Sweeney has like a fun, bubbly personality.
Well,
she seems like she enjoys being feminine, and it seems like she doesn't hate men, which is a big plus. She really plays into the like, I'm a hot blonde bombshell, I have big titties thing, which, are we back to liking titties as a society? Didn't Kim Kardashian deflate her ass recently? That's how I knew.
Did she? Well, I guess that she's taking care of her children now.
The ass fad was over. The fall of Kim Kardashian's ass and the rise of Sydney Sweeney. Besides...
Hey. Asses are not gone, okay? They're now in the gym. Unfortunately, though, they are now being replaced by fitness influencers who are telling women that it is highly achievable to get that booty without taking roids. Yes, because every single girl wants to be shaped like Mewtwo now. A lot of it is genetic. You can try to push yourself as hard as you can, but you are never gonna get there. As somebody who has been cursed with extremely bad calf genetics, I know what I'm talking about. I've been putting a lot of effort into them. I can jump extremely high. I can do everything. They just won't grow. And thus, you have to settle with what you have, okay? You are beautiful in your own way, and Sweeney's ad does not say that she is more beautiful than you.
Ass, titties. No. I don't objectify women. I respect women, okay? The only thing that matters to me is a woman's mind. And thighs. What is like the male body equivalent to this debate? Abs or arms? Personally, I love a good forearm. I love a good, nice, thick, manly wrist. And you know what looks great on a wrist? A watch. Which brings us to today's sponsor, Holtzkern. If you're looking for a unique gift or just want to treat yourself to a nice watch, I highly suggest checking out Holtzkern. Big thank you to Holtzkern for sponsoring this video. And now, let's get back to it. My jeans are brown. Sounds like I shit my pants.
The woke outrage over Sydney Sweeney's ad has gone from, well, bad to worse.
Some people have taken issue with the phrase great genes being used over images of a blonde, blue-eyed woman.
If Sydney Sweeney is a registered Republican, I think her ad is fantastic. Okay, thank you very much, everybody.
TikTok and Twitter absolutely blew up with thousands and thousands of people calling this ad fascist propaganda. Yes, they literally took the jeans and jeans pun to be some kind of Nazi dog whistle because Sydney Sweeney is an attractive blonde-haired, blue-eyed woman, which apparently has been an extinct species for so long in advertisement that when people saw this, they got scared and thought they saw the ghost of Hitler. Is Sydney Sweeney a Nazi? No. But do these people kind of have a point about this ad? Also no, they are unwell. But let's hear them out. Let's watch some of these TikToks. Let's listen to them, listen to their points. We're not gonna be mean. We're not gonna own the libs, okay? We are going to hear them out. You guys are
in all fairness, it's not like only these libs hate Sweeney. There are a lot of right-wingers who vehemently dislike her. Like, I don't know if the whole now she's representing titties today has like made some of them shift in perspective, but like, boy, when she was doing the Belle Delphine thing there, God, just saying her name brought back weird memories. It wasn't just liberals who were being weird about that, right? Some were celebrating that yeah, she can make money however the fuck she wants. Others found that to be very disgusting. She was compared to like, a male actor, which I think that she also replied to, like, oh, why aren't you finding it hypocritical, women, when you were willing to buy the bathwater of a man, and now you're criticizing me? Like, yes, you are pandering to the same thing. Yeah, it's worth being called out for. But some right-wingers were also calling her out and calling her a whore, for which, like, I find it weird, okay, to do that whole thing of selling bathwater, especially for people who are buying it. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? But yeah, also, was it bathwater or was it soap? Am I remembering wrong here? But regardless of which, being called a whore for that? Nah.
Thing about that Sydney Sweeney jeans ad, so I went and saw it.
That's Nazi propaganda.
Holy 2014
pronunciation.
Tumblr. What the f? Out here looking like she walked straight out of a Stone Toss comic. Looking like you're going on the thumbnail of this video. Listen, if your bangs end in the middle of your forehead, you don't have to tell me your political opinions. I know them. I can tell. Okay, sorry. I got it out of my system. Let's continue.
I will be the friend that's too woke because those Sydney Sweeney American Eagle ads are weird. Like fascist weird. Like Nazi propaganda weird.
So this commercial was apparently a reference to an old Brooke Shields commercial from the 80s.
The secret of life lies hidden in the genetic code.
This was weird. In my 15 minutes of searching for this, I stumbled on this very thing. The kid here is 14. 14 years old. Like, if there's one controversy that we had, is trying to emulate that to begin with.
Genes are fundamental in determining the characteristics of an individual and passing on these characteristics to succeeding generations. This may result in the origin of an entirely new species, which brings us to Calvin's and the survival of the fittest.
Calvin Klein jeans.
Oh my god, she turns into a swastika. She was like 14 in that ad, by the way. Really creepy. So at least Sydney Sweeney is of legal age. 14 is actually pretty old for Brooke Shields if you know her history and her lore. If anything, that is the most f***ed up thing about this Sydney Sweeney ad. Reference is of legal age. 14 is actually pretty old for Brooke Shields if you know her history and her lore. If anything, that is the most up thing about this Sydney Sweeney ad, referencing an old ad of a child star who was abused by Hollywood. But yeah, it was a callback to an old commercial. And Sydney Sweeney is the current day hot celebrity, so they chose to do it with her.
But if I may add one thing here, it's one of the ads though. There were two. There is the one that June showed in the start, but there is also one where it's not just a play on word, where the word jean is being covered by Sweeney herself, and her jeans being blue. That is literally not just the wordplay, but like the company knows what they're doing. That might be the one thing where I might find issue with this, because it's clearly something that they're aware of. They know that the wordplay is going to insinuate something. Her jeans are great because of the denim blue of her jeans, like her eyes, and they're capitalizing on that outrage slash ambiguity about it all. And I think that it kind of sucks, right, from a company to do that. It's very weird, at least for me. But let's go.
Unfortunately failed to consider the fact that in current year, white people are not allowed to say that they have good genes, because that is Nazi propaganda.
Oh, you can.
A blonde-haired, blue-eyed white woman is talking about her good genes. Like, that is Nazi propaganda.
Oh,
you don't
brother.
get to drop lines about inherited traits, blue eyes, and great genes while zooming in on somebody that could have walked straight off of a Nazi propaganda post.
Why? Why are you saying that? It could be you. You don't have blue eyes, but is it me who has wrong eyes now, who can't see blonde from brown?
A white, blonde, blue-eyed, Hitler's wet dream talking about how much she loves her genetics.
It's not just giving eugenics, it's giving male fantasy.
What? Okay. I guess that if I say that she's attractive, then I'm a Nazi now. Now, mind you, I'm not trying to be reductionist here, but like, the statement sounds very, very wrong.
Like how eugenics and being attractive to men are like equally terrible things to these people.
Sydney Sweeney's jeans ad is giving ethnic state propaganda. It is giving dystopian. It is giving 1940s Germany.
Why do they all speak the same? Why do they all do the same shit? They all say the same shit. It's giving. It's giving.
Put a blonde-haired, blue-eyed, fair-skinned woman in an ad and say she
that's
has
how people
good
talk.
genes. I don't know if I can say this, but it's literally giving Nazi propaganda.
That's how people talk, unfortunately.
Giving. Also, the flesh-colored microphone? Why? It's giving dick, okay? It's giving penis.
It's giving cock.
It's giving cock.
I can't believe I actually have to explain this, but there is a reason that they picked a girl named Sydney Sweeney for this ad, and it's not just her blonde hair and her blue eyes. Sydney Sweeney is laying with her German Shepherd dog.
Lass den Hund in Ruhe. Okay. Leave the dog alone. I switched to German just for the sake of the video, but goddamn, what's the next thing? Sydney Sweeney SS?
In this shoe. Her name is Sydney Sweeney, so her initials are SS.
There it is. There it fucking is. You know that people become so predictable. Like, on this channel, we've been covering like certain conspiracy theorists, and you cannot start tuning into the mentality of people. Okay? Don't, please, for the love of whatever the fuck is out there, stop doing this.
They intentionally included her German Shepherd dog in the photo shoot.
Oh my god. Take your meds. Meds, 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 meds. Her name is Sydney Sweeney. Her initials are SS, like the Nazis. The dog is a German Shepherd. German, like the Nazis. Are they putting crack in birth control nowadays? What is going on? She is a hot woman. She is a hot woman because of the way she looks. She looks the way she looks because of genetics. She has great genes. That is how a normal person sees it. She's blonde and has blue eyes and her initials are SS and she has a German Shepherd. Is how a schizophrenic, politically brain-rotted person sees it.
Hi, thank you for calling American Eagle. This is Jess. How can I help today?
Hi, I am a marketing student and was wondering if I could speak to someone who could maybe give me some insight as to what estimated return on investment there has to be willing to use white supremacy and eugenics as your marketing campaign.
Holy shit. Okay, listen. I know the US currently is in weird times. The current administration has really not helped the situation and the way that people are viewing their neighbors, their fellow constituents, their fellow Americans. Things are agitated. And I get that. I get that this will put people on edge and people will be very, very politically peeled at the moment. That being said, you have got to fucking chill. I'm not necessarily blaming people for getting this, okay? I will call them dumb if they're saying statements like this, okay? But the company... what did American Eagle answer to this?
Few moments later.
So this is the response from American Eagle. Sydney Sweeney has great genes, is and always was about the genes. Her gene, her story. What story? We'll continue to celebrate how everyone wears their American Eagle jeans with confidence their way. Great jeans look good on everyone. Why didn't they just end the fucking thing with this tagline? It would have stopped all the ambiguity and it would have prevented all of the bullshit that is going on. Like, perhaps you might understand why I personally feel as if this was a company engaging in rage bait, because they kind of know the climate of things and they're capitalizing on that. They knew this was going to happen. Ain't no way that somebody in like advertisement was going through it and was like, oh, the climate is kind of weird right now. People are just going to make assumption. I'm not saying that it's right, okay? It's not that Sydney Sweeney or American Eagles themselves came forth and said that, yeah, Sweeney has Ubermensch genes. She's going to be the next one to add in our Lebensborn program to create the next Aryan children. Like, none of that happened. But assumptions are going to be made. In the same way that, think about a few years ago. Okay, actually, I have something here that I might use as a prop.
One eternity.
Now, check this out. Like, look at this, okay? This is like an age-old reference. For some of you, that's like ages ago. But for what's a good reference? Yeah, we lost George Michael at that time to the Catch Me Outside girl. Given that we're also talking about making white people feeling bad, Get Out came out that time. And what else? Taylor Swift was being called a Nazi too. And yeah, this ad featuring a black boy wearing a green hoodie where it was written "Coolest Monkey in the Jungle" came out by H&M. Now, did H&M try to do that on purpose? I don't think they did. But somebody clearly did not think about the implications, because again, it's about vibes. Like, one could say that ad gave a little bit of racism.
On a marketing campaign.
Harassing some poor worker, doesn't even fucking speak English, has all to do with the commercial. These people are sick.
Yes, I recently saw American Eagle's eugenics marketing campaign where they used that white blonde girl and talked about how good her genes were in a time where racism is rampant in the U.S.
I see. Thank you for taking time to share your feedback.
Why are you bothering this random ass Filipino woman with your West Wing ass TED talk? Nobody gives a bothering this random ass
in the U.S.
I see. Thank you for taking time to share your feedback.
Why are you bothering this random ass Filipino woman with your West Wing ass TED talk? Nobody gives a
Okay. So there's no way to, as a student, I can't learn about when eugenics makes sense in marketing?
Okay, lady. If you want to learn about the history of eugenics and be very, very careful of the words that you are making use of, pick a fucking book. This is where I have to thank my history and technology teacher in high school, who actually got me into learning a bit more about American history, because I had to do like a presentation of the war versus the US, or the Cold War, US versus USSR, and inevitably inspired me to learn astrophysics. That's where how events tend to cascade. But like, let us kid ourselves, America has a history of eugenics. Obviously, anybody who has learned this history knows about this. Start with the likes of Sir Francis Galton, the man who coined the term in like 1883. I will not respect the man by calling him Sir, but that's what people call him, and the moniker stuck. He was the cousin of Charles Darwin. And yes, before some creationists hears that and try to use that as like a gotcha against evolution, shut the fuck up. He argued that mental and physical traits are equally heritable, therefore suggested that we use the Crusaders King's tree methods, like that winning strategy of selectively breeding better humans. Cueing the, I don't know, Terraformers clip of Isaac G. Newton.
They've based their selection on 3 factors alone: looks, talent, and resistance to disease. His family has engaged in selective breeding.
Behold the pinnacle of humanity. A human being created in the perfect image of God.
Japan, I love you, but I guess old habits die hard. But eugenics was a tool of social control masquerading as a science. That's how it was from the get-go. And with how the US was changing by the turn of the 20th century, with industrialization, urbanization, and immigration especially, the elites amongst Americans, fearing that the arrival of Eastern and Southern Europeans would ruin their ways of life, engaged in that. That's why you have stuff like the Eugenic Records Office being founded in 1910, sponsored by Rockefeller, Carnegie, and of course, not to fail to mention a recurring character here on the channel, the reason as to why boys get their dicks chopped off, John Harvey Kellogg's. Yes, the cereal guys, we've talked about him a few times here. So they started passing such things as mandatory sterilization by law, and this is like 1913, and they did that to quell the spread of idiots, sexual perverts, basically anybody who they deemed to be displaying imbecilic behavior. And if you God damn it, I'm sorry for saying this, but if you were to be a member of the shoe on head audience, because that's like a joke that she will riff off on, a lot of you would have been gone. And me, of course, because I'm black. Now, because this arm of eugenics seemed kind of grim, there was another one, a parallel positive eugenic that was then being marketed for. That's how you get into the marketing of eugenics, actually. And that was through the American Eugenics Society that tried to enshrine that into people's mind by making games about it, like Crusader King style, but with real people. They had this thing called the Fitter Family for Future Fireside contests. Yes, a lot of Fs there. That were held all over America for like 40 states, where a contestant will go through a 3-hour inspection of physical examination and going through the family tree. They got points for like having clean teeth, like if they brushed them, musical talents, because that was important at the time, if they had a family tree of longevity, and of course every single thing was deducted if they had such things as hysteria in the family, you know, that excuse that was used for men at the time to lock their spouses, mothers, sisters, you name it, in a psych ward just because, yeah, they were displaying discontent. Like if you had family members that suffered epilepsy or had gone to sudden death, shit out of luck, you got your points deducted. Like, these are the ideas that 1935 Germany copied, and like the Germans, they made it a lot better with the Lebensborn program that I kind of mentioned before, where doctors were matching the best Aryan stock to conceive and care for large families in a utopian environment. Some real Wolfenstein shit. And the same goes for the Nuremberg race laws that prevented God, how did I forget that word? Interracial marriages and stuff like that. And yeah, they were of course taken from the US as well. And we have to thank our boy Kellogg for creating that through his Race Betterment Foundation. Yes, of course, the Immigration Act of 1924, that lasted like 40 years, that prevented a lot of people, migrants, to come into the country, to mix into the gene pool. And look, I'm not telling you this because I want you, if you're a white person, to feel bad, okay? That's history. That's not you. That's the people of the past. Yet it doesn't change the fact that in moments of turmoil where people have... Yet it doesn't change the fact that in moments of turmoil, when things like this... Yet it doesn't change the fact that in moments of turmoil, when things are being displayed that kind of feels like this, that people who are finally learning about the existence of such things in American society are going to have the alarms bell ringing like crazy. But to the lady then who goes around harassing people at their workplaces by telling them about this, no, you're fucking dumb.
50 years ago, when these people would just be serial killers instead of doing whatever the fuck this is. She's even got other celebrities seething.
Genes are passed down from parents to offspring, often determined in traits like hair color.
Come on. Doja Cat. Especially not coming from you.
Personality and even eye color. My genes are blue.
Haha, she did a dumb redneck voice, get it? Because all white people are dumb inbred hicks? Good one, Doja. Hey, by the way, why are you pandering to the same exact people who got your ass cancelled for wearing a Sam Hyde shirt once? They all think you're racist too, girl, but nice try. Hope they see this.
Doja Cat is making fun of Sydney Sweeney's ad only because she realized after all those years of her kissing up to white supremacists, they're never going to accept her because she's a half black woman. Wearing the Sam Hyde shirt, you dating all these white supremacists. So make fun of the ad all you want, but we'll never forget you rolling around in those chat rooms showing white supremacists your feet so they could make fun of your black ass.
Oh, they did see it, and they still hate you.
Weird adverts aside about how the best genes are characterized in a conventionally attractive white, blonde, blue-eyed woman. Not true. I mean, look at me. Within 5...
Stop. Okay? I will understand the thing that I said before, criticism of corporation. I'm so sorry that this is the state of things now. We always have to blame things on consumerism, but that's America for you. But stop demeaning yourself. You're white, you have blonde eyes, blue eyes. Fuck it all. Move on. Okay? You feeding into this narrative is the same thing that keeps giving it power to actual white supremacy.
Years, or as soon as she shows any sign of aging, that's it. The moment she becomes visibly over 25.
Enjoy the ride now, babe, before you get too old and ugly and hit the wall. But wokely. This is just something I've noticed in the decade of criticizing feminism on the internet. Male feminists are the most misogynistic, sexist freaks ever when they finally have an acceptable, approved target to go after. God forbid you are a woman with the incorrect opinion, because hell hath no fury. A male feminist replying to you.
A strawberry blonde, blue-eyed woman marketing having great genes. This is just a whole fucking eugenics campaign, and I, for one, would like to throw myself off a balcony.
Do it. Do a backflip. Live stream it. Also, these people just straight up don't know what the eugenics movement is. Talking about genetics is not eugenics. Sydney Sweeney did not say she had the best genes or superior genes or that other people had bad, inferior genes. Someone even made it like a fake ad, like, Beyonce has better genes, and it's like, why'd you pick the picture where she has like a blonde wig on?
Now, companies have now the chance of doing the funniest thing, which of course to create like ads that are supposed to be fitting this, right, with then other races. Post-editing Jag here. While looking at that other version of the Sweeney ad, I stumble on, well, this. Apparently people have done that. Huh.
This campaign is poking at women's greatest and most tender insecurity under the patriarchy, which is desirability in the beauty standard. It affects not only non-white women, even though this is clearly white supremacist, Aryan race propaganda.
Stop. Stop. Fucking A. For me, this whole Sweeney thing would have never happened if it wasn't for a string of events that has had her being associated with certain groups that feel, I guess, in the eyes of some people, rather undesirable. I think in that quick short, I saw a picture of her being part of, I think it was a birthday, with people that were wearing what seemed like MAGA hats. And while those weren't actually MAGA heads, they were like Make the 60s Great Again or something. But like through the associations of things, again, it's all about vibes, people ended up having a certain opinion that, oh no, she's hanging with MAGA. Of course, I know that some right-wingers have decided to champion her as being like the anti-woke female now, or whatever the fuck it is. As if she didn't feature in one of the wokest show out there. Again, Euphoria, where there were women that were just as attractive as her in that very show. Perhaps the one thing that I would think kind of personally would make me feel a little bit weird about her, which was about her acting chops and her not being paid enough. So this is from an interview that Sweeney had with the Hollywood Reporter after she had won an Emmy, clarifying her situation and out the fact that she's not earning as much as she would like to. And some people kind of took exception to that. She said the following: they don't pay actors like they used to. And with streamers, you no longer get residuals. If I wanted to take a 6-month break, I don't have income to cover that. I don't have someone supporting me. I don't have anyone I can't turn to pay my bills or call for help. The established stars, because she's comparing herself here to established actors, get paid, but I have to give 5% to my lawyer, 10% to my agent, 3% or something like that to my business manager. I have to pay my publicist every month. That's more than my mortgage. And of course, people were like, hey, hold on a minute. How can you say that? You're Sydney Sweeney. You're being featured in just about everything, right? You are a huge figure. You are an online persona beside your acting chops. So it feels out of touch. And so she continues by saying that if I just acted, I wouldn't be able to afford my life in LA. I take deals because I have to. I couldn't believe I was even able to buy a house. I want to be able to stay there. So is this Sydney Sweeney saying that I'm doing all of these shenanigans because I've got bills to pay? So if you were to ask me what do I think is kind of weird about Sweeney, I would say that, well, it's not white privilege, but it's definitely a certain form of privilege, which is that of being a massive actress that feels as if she's not being compensated enough. Granted, things are different now, as she's pointed herself, actors are being paid differently, yet still, it feels weird to say. coming from her.
Propaganda, but it also adversely affects the majority of white women who do not naturally have blonde hair and blue eyes. Because yes, even the women who can achieve this look have to do it through artificial means in one way or another. The vast majority of white women are not naturally blonde. And of course, lots of white women are also insecure about having brown eyes. So that's a whole generation of young white women who are being further propagandized to purchase blonde hair dye and contacts for the rest of all time.
Okay. What are you saying? Some women are better looking, or at least have a certain look about them that I guess is prettier. But what the fuck? Who the fuck cares? I'm sorry, listen. Ads don't always need to pander to everybody, okay? They don't have to. Like when I'm buying a fitness watch, when I'm buying a certain tank top, it's not meant to be for somebody who has like a belly, okay? To be wearing this. It's supposed to be somebody who is relatively fit, thin looking, and they can carry this on. This one, this is an extra large. I know some people would have been dying out of thirst if I was wearing something that was actually tight. But stop projecting.
Hey, what? Are attractive women just not allowed to model anymore because, like, God forbid it makes some other women insecure? And as someone with brown eyes, I've never once felt insecure about having brown eyes. Like, yeah, I'm not gonna get into hyperborea, but I've seen myself photoshopped with blue eyes. Horrifying.
Disturbing.
So we've gone from Nazi propaganda to genocide to racism to now poor little girls are gonna feel insecure because they don't have blue eyes like Sydney Sweeney.
Another thing about the Sydney Sweeney beauty standard that is very important to note is that big boobs are a hallmark of what conservative men are.
What? Girl, listen to me. As a certified man with big titties, okay? I wholeheartedly support the itty bitty titty committee. I'm an ass man, personally, okay? If I meet a woman who has an ass smaller than myself, I will chastise her. No, like, seriously though. Big boobs are nice. Fat asses are also nice. If you have neither, work on your personality if that's what you care about. But inevitably, somebody out there is going to find you attractive. Do you have any idea how many women at the local stock, that is our equivalent of like Home Depot out here, or Excel book should I rather say. I've been going to the stores recently because I'm fixing some stuff in the garden. But like, do you have any idea of how prettier they are in comparison to Sweeney? But it's literally the meme of like the high fashion model versus the cashier at the local grocery store. There are pretty women everywhere, and men find every facet of different things attractive. Don't let an ad dictate what you think personal beauty is going to be like. Nobody said that you can't be beautiful in your own way. People just said that Sweeney is great in the way that she is.
Attracted to. At the end of the early 2000s and through the 2010s, we were becoming a more progressive society, and so we also naturally progressed to be a more ass-centric society.
In the 2000s, we were becoming more progressive, so we started objectifying women's butts. What? The communist utopia will be ass-centric, apparently. I didn't know the ass first thing was political. How does she know conservatives are all boob men? Conservatives in the audience, are you a boobs or butt guy? What political affiliation are the feet men?
Liberals. Yep.
Libertarians.
Oh,
what political affiliation are the feet men? Libertarians.
Yeah, that fits.
Listen, they can try to disguise it with their little intersectionality buzzwords all they want, but at the end of the day, women just want a socially acceptable reason to hate other women. That's it.
Good genes passed on to offspring? That American Eagle ad with Sydney Sweeney is literally overt eugenics. I know you don't want to hear this, but if you want to talk about how that ad is promoting eugenics, which it absolutely is, we also have to talk about how choosing not to wear a mask when you can during an ongoing pandemic, because you're okay with a certain subset of people, primarily disabled people of color, dying for your own comfort.
Wait a minute. What the fuck? Is this allowed? Is she trying to guilt trip other people into being more woke than she? You're outrageous enough. We need to bring back 2020's pandemic.
It's also eugenics.
1 second.
Hey, physical calendars.
2025. We are talking about wearing masks for COVID in 2025. I like how she's woke scolding the other woke scolds for not woke scolding about her particular pet issue. COVID broke the brains of so many of these people, man.
Everybody
it's because
was
it's when the
broken.
world was just a giant, safe HR longhouse where it was socially acceptable for them to be moral busybodies and never leave their home. It was like the closest to their lib shit utopia that we have ever gotten, and they miss it.
I remember growing up in a predominantly white community, wishing myself out of this body, out of this culture, take my name, if it meant that I could wake up blonde-haired and blue-eyed, never having to explain who I am or worry about being accepted. That is why this American Eagle ad with Sydney Sweeney is especially off-putting.
Listen, I'm
Okay,
sorry
that's
that happened
very
to you,
sad, okay?
but we live in a predominantly white country. If you go to another country, there will be a different beauty standard. If you go to the country of your ancestors, there will be a different beauty standard, and maybe it will look more like you. But again, she didn't say her genes were better or the best, and it's not like all the hot popular celebrities look like Sydney Sweeney. Look at Ana de Armas. Look at Zendaya.
Yeah,
they don't
who was
look
in Euphoria.
anything like Sydney Sweeney, and they are known as very beautiful around Hollywood. This is
And some, depending on the generation, consider them to be the beauty standard. Let me give you a wonderful example of this. In an ideal society, I wish that people could get to see just how equally beautiful people are, regardless of gender and or ethnicity or whatever. Like, for example, on one end here, you have Rochelle 8. On the other one, you have her white clone, Margot Robbie. Now, both of these ladies are very beautiful, regardless of the skin color. One came before the other, that's why I call her the clone. But unfortunately, only one of these appears in the mainstream. And that is the unfortunate nature of things. Like, for example, me, I live in Denmark. Do you know how often I get to see people who look like me? Perhaps once a month. And I don't understand having the desire of somebody who looks like you. That is going to be, for example, a thing that my child is going to have to struggle with a little bit because she has a mixture of me and her mom. And given the sparsity of people who have my hue, we already have some funny questions coming from her parts. That is unfortunate.
why corporations and the media think in order to pander to the female gaze, everything has to be like average and frumpy and ugly. Because women can't stop fucking projecting their insecurities. Not every character in a movie or a video game has to look like you. Not everyone in an ad has to look like you. Hell, the only time I see people who look like me is when I turn on the live-action Grinch movie. You notice men never say this shit, by the way? They usually go like, wow, that man is strong. I don't look like that. I'm gonna go to the gym.
There's a good reason for that. We raise boys and girls differently. That's one of the reasons why girls, for example, at a younger age are way better at handling their emotion, whereas boys are renowned for being extremely explosive in the way that they behave. Because some of them are just left behind. They are being taught to not invest much in their emotions. They're not being taken care of. They're not being hugged enough in the daycares whenever something bad happens, whereas the girls are always being pampered too. And the same thing goes with like the physical appearance and attractiveness. It took so long for us to reach the point where this is now also affecting men. Body dysmorphia is now at a higher degree, affecting men at a higher degree than they do women. You have these young boys in the gyms right now because, again, we just need to go to the gym and work out, right? They're being ridiculed for not being big enough, or do you even lift, bruh? So they're all resorting into taking PEDs. I didn't mention the thing with the ladies and wanting to achieve the gluteus maximus of fitness influencers, right? Well, that happens for women, but to a way higher degree for men. So like, I get her point, but it's very bad for dudes today.
And women are like, wow, that woman is thin. I don't look like that. I'm gonna go complain.
What makes Sydney Sweeney's jeans better? Like, why did you get that joke? All us woke people are saying is that it's just a little bit weird to directly reference European jeans as better.
Again, she never
didn't say
said that her
better.
jeans were better. You are making shit up.
Now, when you think of the all-American girl, like the standard of like American beauty, you probably think blonde hair, blue eyes, white girl, right? You're not supposed to think that way.
You're not supposed to think that way, guys. That's double plus ungood.
That's ingrained in you because of negative things that have been pushed on you by society.
When you think about the all-American woman, you should be thinking about an obese, transgender, disabled woman or something.
I mean, if we're talking about just purely health, America has a stereotype. I'm only picturing some people sitting in a certain electric device at a Walmart if we're talking about the average woman.
What would be an acceptable vision of the American woman for this person? It's insane she's saying that we think Sydney Sweeney is hot because of negative things that have been pushed on us by society. No, bitch, we have eyes. And just because she is attractive does not mean you are also not attractive.
Yeah.
Look at your full lips. That is a standard of beauty I'll never live up to, but that's okay. Because I have other things that are beautiful and unique about me, just like you have other things that are beautiful and unique about you, regardless if Sydney Sweeney is held up as the American beauty standard. These are lessons your mother should have taught you, not a YouTuber. Sydney Sweeney's ad shows a cultural shift towards whiteness. Advertisements are always mirrors of society, and sometimes what they reflect is ugly and startling.
Oh man, do people who write these never realize though how weird it sounds? Whiteness. Ugly and startling. Do you not hear yourself when you type that down?
Boo. A white woman. Oh, the fucking author is white. I hate these people, man. Shut up. Shut up. It's one thing when it's like a non-white person talking about how white people suck. It's like, okay, you're just racist. But when it's a white person talking about white people suck, you need to be ground up into a pulp and fed to livestock. You would honestly be more useful that way. Ads are always mirrors of society, and sometimes what they reflect is ugly and startling. Popular American culture is, indisputably, becoming more puritanical and more conservative.
What are you saying? Oh, what are you saying? It's just reactionary. That's all it is. That's all it's always been. And now the left is pushing that even further. And it's fucking stupid. The thing was always this. Progressivism has always argued that we are going to be leaving some of the restriction that was imposed on us by the more conservative side of things. Conservatism had this ideal of being a bit more, what's the word I'm looking for here? Modest in your way of carrying yourself. Like, I've showcased certain images of myself in the past, like when I was raised Christian conservative, so I was wearing suits and ties very often, blazers all the time. I was a bona fide church kid and a nerd at that, so I had a full package. But now conservatism in a reactionary way has now taken hotness to become the new conservative. Which is weird, right? Because it's just reactionary to the shift in culture. Where then now, because the left has to be always progressive and contradictory to the other movement, they're pushing the envelope even further. So now it's no longer about, oh, you're not supposed to be hot. No, you need to be outlandish. You need to be special, out there in your way of carrying yourself. Now, I will say that in terms of art, that has always been a thing that actually allows us to get some new things, some new inspirations, some new looks. But sometimes it ends up being fucking silly, or extremely goofy, as a certain movie would put it.
Puritanical? The focus of the ad was her tits and ass. This is not at all a conservative puritanical ad. Have you seen what the puritanical right thinks of Sydney Sweeney?
Hell yeah.
They think she's a whore, okay? They think she's a whore. The backlash has been swift and fierce, and some of it, at least if you ask me, is fair. The internet has been quick to condemn the advertisement as non-inclusive at best. Non-inclusive? Why the f does everything have to be inclusive? It's a commercial with one fucking person in it. Sweeney exudes a source of vintage sexiness that caters to the male gaze. She embodies the near mythological girl next door beautiful but low maintenance sexy femininity that dominated the media in the 1990s and early 2000s.
Anybody thinking about the female gaze? Get it? Gaze.
Oh wow, that sounds great. You're telling me that's fascism? Waiter, more fascism please. What the f? It's just so funny, like, the left is currently losing their mind about how, like, they need to get young men to vote for Democrats again, and here they are, like, blondes with big s are fascism. Listen, the alt-right pipeline does not start with the American Eagle ad. It starts with you. What are you doing? This is not at all a conservative far-right ad. It's just a normal ad that would have ran like 15 years ago. But I guess that's what being far-right is nowadays. Being normal from 15 years ago. I love this random part of the article though. Young women are being radicalized through so-called clean skincare and healthy eating. So fascism is hot people eating healthy and having clean skin. Goebbels himself could not make better propaganda.
I guess that she meant something else, but god damn, that came out as extremely stupid.
Literally, as I am editing this video, the New York Times comes out with this opinion piece, Why the Right is Obsessed with Thinness. I would really, really appreciate if people stopped equating health and beauty to fascism, because if health and beauty are fascism, what is unhealthiness and ugliness? Unfortunately, a big part of socially progressive ideology is dismantling hierarchies and norms, and challenging what society sees as conventional, traditional, and beautiful. A really good example of this was those statues that were put up like all over different cities of like a frumpy woman in leggings. And the artist says like the purpose of these was to like challenge conventional beauty standards. And it's like, imagine looking like one of these women and then hearing like, oh yeah, this was put up to challenge beauty. Like,
what do you mean by that?
What do you mean by that? Remember the whole body positivity movement like 10 years ago?
Yeah.
Remember like all the fat influencers? Remember when every single ad was like this ad, for example? Calvin Klein's latest underwear campaign is breaking big boundaries. Big boundaries? Whoa, 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 whoa. What do you mean by that?
Exactly, and I think that people should have also raised an eyebrow at that at that time, because that's the thing with hypocrisy. It doesn't discriminate. When people are now playing onto this rage bait and actually, because there are some people who are reveling in Sweeney now being, I don't know, like the Obermensch version of like go woke, go broke. Like it's clearly not an intention, but they are reveling in this, and they are absolute hypocrite for being that, because you know that if it was a different case, if it was somebody else, like let's say Sweeney's co-star Hunter Schafer, who was featured in the ad, or who's another one that's a good pick here, Sabrina Carpenter, right? Another one who has been mired in a lot of controversy, who is like Sweeney with the bubbly personality and reveling in being a blonde girl with big titties. But on the liberal side, they would have lost their shit too.
While fashion is starting to seriously consider creating more inclusive environment for consumers, there is still a huge mountain to climb before it is truly considered diverse. Huge mountain? No, that's just mean. And that's why Calvin Klein, probably the most famous name associated with underwear, just launched a groundbreaking campaign.
Groundbreaking?
Oh, come on now. The campaign is all about feeling free to express yourself, being uninhibited, and being provocative by challenging the norms we see on a regular basis. See? Challenging norms. It's all about challenging norms. This reminds me of that protein world controversy from 2015. Old heads will remember. I wrote an article about it for the Libertarian Republic. Wow, that was a long time ago. But anyway, a billboard with this ad for a protein powder supplement was put up and people lost their fucking minds. They vandalized it, they threatened to get a bunch of the employees fired, they threatened to go where the company was located with hammers, all because they committed the great crime of body shaming by daring to have a thin, attractive woman on their ad. This ad made other companies come out with their own like little virtue signaling things, like passive aggressive, like everybody is ready. Like every fashion magazine, every beauty magazine was pumping this shit out at the time, just fat, 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 fat. The rise of like Tess Holiday and the hashtag F your beauty standards.
Wow.
Oh my god. You could not escape this.
It is so weird. Like I watched the Wall-E movie a few days back with my kid, and there's this scene where you get to see all the fat people in the machines just rolling around in their spaceship, right? And the advertisement that shows the clothes that they're supposed to be wearing. And it shifts from like the red to the blue, like one of the person gets to interact with the screen and stuff to just put it on. But the thing that is being advertised to, at least the advertisement features thin-looking silhouettes, whereas the people are extremely fat. That's the thing. That's always done. You are being sold the ideal, but you are not actually like that. And that is regardless of the demographic or the political alignment of the demographic. This is not, the ad is not targeting specifically conservative, progressive, or whatever have you on the political compass. They will sell you a product and they will want you to fit into that. And it just fits perfectly with the rising trend of everybody wanting to partake in a gym and have a specific body, and Ozempic making things a lot easier for a certain demographic. And with the dying down of the body positivity movement, they seized that opportunity and they made an ad like this. Now, they may or may not have played into the concept of certain jeans, because again, there are two versions of the ad, but it's all about selling you a product. And the same thing they did when it came to the body positivity movement, because people were heralding that because it was all about selling something to you.
Also, suspiciously, body positivity only seemed to mean obese women.
Somebody who has subjected themselves to the weird video by Jubilee about fat versus fit, where I almost want to strangle all the fit people there for just a condescending attitude. There was like one person who actually was nice on the fit side, and that was the biggest dude amongst them, which was nice. But no, when it comes to body positivity, there are also fat men.
But yes, everywhere you looked, it was like fat, 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 and everyone was like, yes, queen! Well, now we live in Ozempic world, and the fat acceptance movement seems to have died. Like many of the fat influencers, unfortunately. And these same types of people are like crashing out about the Sydney Sweeney ad because they really do feel like all the work they have done to like socially engineer people's behavior and preferences has been just like destroyed overnight. Who would win? Decades of propaganda? One big booby girl. I wrote in the old article, I can't say I'm too surprised at the backlash towards this model's body. We are living in a world where instead of striving to better ourselves and live a healthy lifestyle, praising obesity and unattractiveness is becoming the norm. Well, shoe on head from 10 years ago, you will be happy to hear that it seems like it's no longer the norm. Because apparently not just American Eagle, but like Dunkin' Donuts and Arby's are using hot people in their ads again. Is the culture truly healing, or are we about to go into a deep financial recession?
And to be clear, it doesn't mean that you need to take Botox surgery, that you need to have a plastic surgery or like boob enhancement or whatever, implant something in your ass like Kim Kardashian, right? Because that's the same fucking thing in the Kardashian time that Sweeney is engaging in right now, just appearing in every single thing just because she appeals to the male gaze and she is hot to a certain degree. The only difference is that she has yet to make a sex tape. Yes, I went there and I don't care if that made some people angry. It's not about that. Ads always just used to feature beautiful and awesome looking people. That does not mean that you are going to be lesser.
Questions we should be asking. Angry Reddit freaks also doxed Sydney, looking through her voting records and found out she is a registered Republican. One of the most common things I saw about this were how, like, all the women getting mad about Sydney Sweeney were ugly, and I don't think that's true.
Not true.
There were some, like, pretty people in there. But it got onto this topic that I see all the time, and that is, why are liberal women so ugly? Leftists are ugly, conservatives are hot, which is not true, by the way. I was at January 6th, okay? But for the most part, stereotypes exist for a reason, right? Conservatives are, well, conservative with the way that they present themselves. They tend to follow norms and beauty standards, which is why, for example, the media called Hassan a, quote, progressive in a MAGA body.
What? What? Wow. Okay, we are back to the, what was his moniker again? Hank Pecker days. Yeah, I used to watch Debate Bros, and yeah, that was fun during his time with the sex freak Destiny. Mr. Bonnell! Yeah, back then he used to wear a MAGA head, and actual conservative used to believe that he was. Again, he gave off conservative vibes.
And how so many women on dating apps nowadays are looking for a man who votes Democrat but looks like a Republican.
Do I look Republican to you? Is this the archetypical Republican guy?
Everyone is aware of the stereotypes. And with leftists, you know the stereotype, like the overweight, blue hair, nose ring. They're not all ugly, of course, but many purposely make themselves look ugly. Because being ugly is saying F you to the man. Marcel Duchamp's art piece, Fountain, which was literally just a urinal, was a F you to art institutions and classical ideas of beauty. Those f***ass ugly concrete block brutalist buildings are another example. Brutalism
awesome.
emerged after World War II as a post-war modernist style, in part created as a F you to the classical architecture celebrated by, drumroll, the Nazis.
Okay. Calm the fuck down. You're telling me that over here, in the north, where we cherish not having skyscrapers every now and then, through every single street and prefer to maintain our old architecture, are we the Nazis? Come on.
Now
That's
think
silly.
of those concrete buildings and the urinal and apply it to broader society. Basically, the blue hair and nose ring is a f you to, well, Sydney Sweeney. Hitler existed, so now everything has to be fat and ugly. Sorry. I don't know
Wow.
why so many on the left want to give the concept of beauty and health to the right, but it is not a winning strategy. Listen, I just want everyone's basic needs met, alright? I don't want people going in debt if they get into a car accident, or be homeless, or get sent to foreign wars. I didn't sign up for this stupid shit.
Injured? Good.
It is funny though how like every time Sydney Sweeney is on camera, there's like a right-wing article like, woke is dead. Wokeness is no match for Sydney Sweeney's undeniable beauty. Are Sydney Sweeney's breasts double D harbingers of the
Okay,
death of
conservative
woke?
boob
Was that
man.
girl right about conservatives being boob guys? She might have been right after all. Honestly, this doesn't really make sense because like the left are the ones trying to normalize porn and like OnlyFans culture and stuff like that.
I guess. Like, personally, I want sex work to be legalized, yet still being regulated, obviously. I don't know why some people have an idea that once you make certain things legal, that, oh, it's just going to be the law of the jungle. No, nobody actually wants that. That's one of the reasons why so many people were adamant against the payment processor thing going on recently with MasterCard and what was the other one? PayPal. It's not just about banning porn games, it's about actually letting people have the liberty to do the things that they want, if it is art or if it is actually using their body to sell things, just like Sweeney's doing with bath water and soap.
If anything, there is too much boobs everywhere. We need to calm down a bit. But when it comes to Sydney's like classical bombshell beauty, like I kind of get where they're coming from. Sydney Sweeney is a hot white woman who does not mind catering to the male gaze after we had a decade of hearing about how the male gaze is bad and toxic. A decade of hearing about how white people are bad and toxic. A decade of ugly, angry, fat androgyny seeping its way into everything and anything. When people say Sydney Sweeney is anti-woke, I don't even think they mean politically. I think they just mean like Sydney Sweeney is like looking into a time portal back to 1992. A time when porn addiction wasn't such a big issue. Every woman didn't show her hole online for $5. Hookup apps didn't exist. It's like a bunch of millennials and zoomers are longing for a time they never experienced. But yes, this is a cultural shift, but not necessarily a conservative one. Just a return to like normalcy, a return to normal Americana consumerism. In 2065, conservatives are going to be like posting people twerking like, return! The same TikTok freaks who are attacking Sydney Sweeney have been sounding the alarm about this cultural shift for some time now. And we see a bunch of celebrities embracing like looking normal and healthy again. Like Demi Lovato is a perfect example of this. She was an obese, short hair, walking stereotype.
Listen. You can't say that this was a liberal thing, okay? I think that everybody was concerned about Demi Lovato. She was making conspiracy theories about aliens and ghosts. Wasn't she the one with that clip with Neil deGrasse Tyson and stuff? Like, she was, oh my god, she was off her rocker. But I'm happy for her now. I think that she suffered the thing that a lot of those Disney kids go through. You get young, you get put into an environment that you are absolutely not supposed to be in. You are not mentally prepared for that, and then you break.
Crying about a frozen yogurt place daring to sell sugar-free frozen yogurt.
I walked in, was so triggered that I left without froyo.
To now being skinny and healthy and married, and even making a TikTok dancing happily in that same frozen yogurt place.
The singer returning to the scene of the crime
making fun of
Wednesday,
herself.
poking fun at herself on her social.
That's part of the reason these people are freaking out and saying like fascist aesthetics, because they know the chokehold they have had on culture is losing its grip. Inshallah. Once Sam Smith goes back to being normal, that's when I know the culture is healing.
But will his music be worse though? I mean, he has put out some haters recently.
Thankfully, American Eagle did not bend the knee and did not apologize to the horde. In fact, they doubled down. Sydney Sweeney has great genes, is and always was about the genes.
And again, why didn't they just close the thing with this? Great genes look good on everyone.
Her genes, her story. Wait a minute. Her genes, her story.
Come on.
HH. Uh-oh. Now, I can sit here and say the obvious, like, these corporations just want to pander to you, they just want to sell you like, yeah, obviously. But have you considered, it's good when corporation pander to me, personally? I just realized so much of American political discourse is, like, around f***ing corporations and ads. The Gillette commercial, Bud Light, Protein World, there's
It's America, what did you expect?
so many examples. Like, it's just crazy how so much of our politics revolves around consuming things. I will buy blue team products. I will buy red team product. Bleak.
Like, I thought that was what America just did until, like, just this year where I learned that it's actually illegal for presidents, the likes of the Orange Man, to actually promote product either their own or others' people, like when he was acting as a car salesman for Mars recently. But yeah, that's as Americana as it gets.
In conclusion, we are tired of ugly. There's hot people in ads again. The white woman is back, baby. Let's go. 500 trillion more to Israel. Nobody can afford a fucking house. World is run by pedophiles. But woke is dead, baby. That's what I'm talking about. Hell yeah. So if you like this video, please subscribe and maybe donate to me on Patreon. Link down below. All Patreon members get the uncensored version of every single video a day early. So you get to hear all the fucks and uncensored. If you can't or don't want to do that, there's also a little tip jar down below. You can leave a little tip and I will give it a little heart. It helps the channel out and I appreciate it so much. Also, big shout out to Holtzkern again for...
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I do not have a Patreon, nor do I have channel membership turned on because I mainly do React content, so I don't feel like I should ask more from you. But if you want to help the channel, just like and also subscribe if you want to see more. Hope that you ended up liking what I thought was going to be a short video, but a longer one nonetheless. Holy shit, it's almost an hour. But anyways, folks, wish you all to have a wonderful day and see you guys in the next one. Bye.